The 1878 school portrait is a captivating window into the past, offering a glimpse of childhood moments captured in a single frame. Imagine a rustic classroom filled with sunlight pouring through the tall, dusty windows. The walls are adorned with faded maps and blackboards, while wooden desks, polished by years of small hands, sit in neat rows. In this setting, a group of children poses for a photograph that would last over a century, their faces a mix of excitement and shyness. If you enjoy this video, please like the video and subscribe for more, and tell me where you are watching from today. I always find it awesome to see where all my viewers are watching from. Let's get back to the video. At the forefront of this portrait stands an unassuming girl with pigtails and wide, curious eyes. She is dressed in a simple but tidy dress, her feet barely visible beneath the hem. Beside her are several boys and girls who share the same eager expressions, each one unique yet united by their experience in that classroom. Some wear straw hats. Others clutch books or small playthings as if they are little treasures from their daily lives. As we delve into the details of the portrait, we can almost hear the laughter and chatter that filled that space on that day in 1878. The air would have been thick with youthful energy as the students gathered for their picture. They were excited to be part of something special, a moment captured forever in time. But despite the liveliness of their expressions, there's an underlying sense of mystery surrounding one particular child. The girl who seems to fade into obscurity. While most of the children in the portrait might be remembered by family stories or local history, this particular girl seems to have slipped through the cracks of time. Her name is not recorded. Her story is not told. This absence raises many questions. Who was she? What dreams did she hold? What was her life like beyond this moment? The absence of information about this girl highlights how easily stories can be lost if they are not shared or preserved. It prompts us to think about how many other children like her have lived quiet lives, their experiences overshadowed by more prominent figures or events. In every classroom across generations, countless students have come and gone without leaving behind any trace, except for perhaps a fleeting smile caught in a school photo. In focusing on this portrait from 1878, we not only celebrate those young lives, but also acknowledge our responsibility to remember all individuals who shaped our communities, even those whose names we may never know. Each child's face tells its own story. Together, they weave a rich tapestry of history that deserves recognition. The photograph itself must have been considered an important occasion at that time. Photography was still relatively new, and capturing images was often seen as an event worth commemorating. For these children, gathering together for such a picture would have felt significant, a rite of passage marking their school year and friendship. As we look closer at the portrait's details, the careful alignment of bodies and expressions frozen in time, we can speculate on what it took to create such an image. The photographer likely called out for smiles or laughter while trying to keep everyone still long enough for the shot to be taken. Imagine the giggles erupting among friends trying to hold their pose. It's easy to picture how fun it must have been for them. A blend of anxiety about looking perfect and carefree joy at simply being together. Yet, amid this joyful chaos stands our mysterious girl, the one who remains unremembered by history. While some classmates may have moved on to live vibrant lives filled with achievements or notable stories passed down through generations, she fades quietly into obscurity. This notion stirs curiosity. How many snapshots exist where memories linger just out of grasp? To better understand her world and those around her, what school was like then. We could imagine lessons taught under candlelight during chilly mornings or afternoons spent playing outside when lessons ended for the day. Were there friendships formed that helped shape them into who they became? Or were there challenges faced quietly? The classroom dynamic must have been rich with interaction, the older children helping younger ones learn letters while sharing secrets during recess breaks, outside under trees, swaying gently under summer sunbeams, streaming through branches above heads, bent over books beneath them. As we continue exploring this intriguing portrait from 1878, it becomes evident that every face within it contributed something important, not just on that day, but throughout their lives following it too. Whether remembered individually or collectively, as classmates embarking together on adventures only they could understand fully. This investigation will lead us further into understanding not just our mysterious girl, but also those around her. Unearthing stories tethered tightly within shared experiences, carved forever onto aging paper, bound together by nostalgia, contrasting sharply against today's fast-paced world, filled with digital images lacking tangible connections between moments lived fully before cameras existed altogether. In essence, this introduction serves as an invitation to join us on this journey. A quest to uncover forgotten histories hidden within faded frames, and maybe even rediscover ourselves along the way as we reflect upon what legacy means beyond mere names etched into yearbooks left behind long ago. As we delve deeper into the 1878 school portrait, the mystery of the unknown child becomes even more intriguing. The girl at the forefront, with her pigtails and curious eyes, embodies a story that has slipped through time. Who was she? What dreams danced in her mind as she stood among her classmates, ready to capture a moment that would last far beyond her years? These questions linger, urging us to seek answers that might never come. In a world where memories can fade like old photographs, the importance of this girl's identity grows. We know little about her life or her family, yet she represents countless other children whose names and stories have been erased from history. This portrait is not just a snapshot of a moment. It's a reminder that each child has a unique journey that deserves to be remembered. To understand her better, we must first consider the context of her life. In 1878, education was undergoing significant changes. Many children were beginning to attend school regularly for the first time. This shift meant that classrooms were filled with laughter and learning, but also with challenges. Perhaps this girl faced obstacles that shaped who she was, whether it was learning to read, making friends, or navigating the complexities of childhood. Imagining her experiences invites us to paint a fuller picture of her life. Did she have a favorite subject? Maybe she loved art or literature, dreaming of becoming an artist or writer one day. Or perhaps she excelled in math, fascinated by numbers and patterns. Each possibility adds depth to her character, transforming her from a mere face in a photograph into a vibrant young girl with hopes and aspirations. Moreover, we can ponder what it was like for her on that particular day when the portrait was taken. Picture the excitement buzzing in the air as children gathered in their best clothes, hair neatly combed and smiles plastered on their faces. The anticipation must have been palpable as they waited for the photographer to arrive. Did she feel nervous about posing for the picture? Perhaps she hoped to look just right when her family saw it later. Yet amid all this excitement lies an unsettling truth. While others may have gone on to achieve great things or become part of local lore, this girl remains nameless and faceless in our collective memory. The contrast between her potential and her obscurity prompts us to think about how easily stories can fade away if they are not cherished or told. This mystery speaks volumes about our relationship with history. It reminds us that many individuals contribute to our communities in quiet ways that don't always make headlines, or headlines who don't get celebrated in books. Just like this girl, Many people live lives filled with meaning and significance, but are never recognized for them. To explore this idea further, we could consider other children captured in the same portrait. How many of them would be remembered? Some might have grown up to become teachers, doctors, or leaders in their fields. Lives celebrated by family histories passed down through generations. In contrast, others may live quietly without any acknowledgement of their contributions. This disparity raises an important question. What makes someone memorable? Is it their accomplishments or their ability to touch others' lives? Perhaps it's both, and therein lies the beauty of our mystery girl. Even without recognition, she represents all those who enrich our existence simply by being part of our shared journey. As we unravel this enigma further, we should also consider how our understanding of history shapes our future. What can we learn from acknowledging lives like hers? By recognizing those who have faded from view, we create space for new stories to emerge. Stories that connect us deeply across time and generations. The quest to uncover the identity of this unknown child serves as an invitation for us all to reflect upon our own legacies and those around us. As we navigate through our daily lives filled with distractions and fast-paced routines, let's not forget the importance of remembering those who contribute quietly yet significantly within our communities. Our mystery girl might be lost in time now, but through exploration and storytelling, she lives on in spirit. She reminds us that every life has value, regardless of how much attention it receives during its lifetime, and encourages us to embrace every story waiting patiently beneath layers of dust and silence. In continuing this investigation into forgotten histories hidden within faded frames, even if they lead nowhere specific, we honor not only our unknown child, but also countless others who share similar fates. Together, they form an intricate web connecting past experiences with present realities. Each thread vital yet often overlooked until someone takes the time to notice. As we embark on this journey together through layers of memory and imagination surrounding the 1878 school portrait, a quest driven by curiosity, let's open ourselves up fully to uncovering truths about lives lived long ago while cherishing lessons learned along the way. To understand the significance of the 1878 school portrait, we must first explore the historical context of that time. The late 19th century marked an era of transformation in many aspects of society, particularly in education. In the United States and beyond, the concept of formal schooling was evolving rapidly. Education became more structured and accessible, with an increasing number of children attending school regularly for the first time. In 1878, America was still recovering from the Civil War and navigating the complexities of Reconstruction. The nation was divided, but there was a growing belief in the power of education as a means to unite communities and foster progress. Schools began to emerge as centers of learning and socialization, where children learned not only academic subjects, but also essential values like discipline, cooperation, and respect. The classroom depicted in the portrait reflects this changing landscape. Wooden desks filled with eager students represent a shift from informal homeschooling or one-room schoolhouses to more organized educational settings. Children were exposed to a curriculum that included reading, writing, arithmetic, and even rudimentary science and geography. It was a time when literacy was becoming increasingly valued as a key to success in life. However, not all children had equal access to education. Many rural areas still struggled with resources, and segregation meant that children of different races often attended separate schools, if they attended at all. While some communities embraced education for all children, others remained resistant to change. This disparity highlights the challenges faced by educators and students alike during this pivotal period. The school year was also marked by seasonal changes that affected daily life for these children. In spring and summer, classrooms buzzed with energy as students eagerly engaged with their studies before heading outside to play and explore during recess. However, autumn brought the harvest season, which often meant that many children were required to help their families gather crops instead of attending school regularly. This fluctuation in attendance could impact their learning, an issue that educators worked diligently to address. Additionally, it's important to consider how societal norms influence the experiences of children in schools at that time. Gender roles were well defined. Boys often received encouragement to pursue practical skills or trades, while girls were typically expected to focus on domestic duties or teaching roles. The unknown girl in our portrait may have faced pressure to conform to these expectations, shaping her ambitions and experiences in subtle ways. As we examine this historical backdrop further, it's easy to imagine what life was like for those children who gathered for their portrait. They likely came from diverse backgrounds and households with varying levels of support for education. Some might have arrived at school excited about learning new things. Others may have felt overwhelmed by expectations or struggles at home. The daily life within those classrooms would have been filled with moments both joyful and challenging. Teachers played a crucial role in guiding students through their lessons while instilling values necessary for becoming responsible members of society. The dedication of educators during this time cannot be overstated. They were often underpaid yet passionate about fostering growth in their students. This context also sheds light on how technology was beginning to influence education. The invention of the camera made it possible for families to capture milestones like this portrait, a revolutionary concept at the time. Photography allowed people not just to document important events, but also to preserve memories that could be passed down through generations. Furthermore, discussions about education reform were emerging during this period. Figures like Horace Mann advocated for public education systems that would provide equitable opportunities for all children, regardless of their socioeconomic status. These ideas began to take root within society, paving the way for future advancements in educational policy. As we reflect on these elements while examining our school portrait from 1878, we can appreciate how much change surrounded these young lives. Each child captured within that frame existed at a crossroads between tradition and progress, a snapshot revealing not just who they were then, but also hinting at who they could become, whether celebrated or forgotten over time. Ultimately, understanding this historical context enriches our appreciation for every individual depicted in the portrait, even our unknown girl who stands silently among her peers. By examining their lives against this backdrop, we recognize that they are part of something larger than themselves. They embody dreams nurtured amid societal shifts that continue to affect education today. Thus far into our exploration, we find ourselves compelled not only by curiosity about one lost story, but by an entire generation striving toward brighter futures through learning, despite various obstacles encountered along the way. We stand reminded how vital it is to honor those contributions while learning from both triumphs and challenges faced throughout history. Lessons woven tightly within each thread, capturing moments forever immortalized on paper. As we continue to explore the 1878 school portrait, it becomes essential to consider the role of school portraits in our cultural landscape. These images serve more than just a decorative purpose. They act as powerful tools that capture memories, mark milestones, and help shape identities. For the children in this particular portrait, the photograph represented an important rite of passage, a way to solidify their bond and document their youth. School portraits have been cherished throughout generations, providing parents, teachers, and communities with a tangible reminder of growth and development. In 1878, photography was a relatively new phenomenon, and capturing moments like these was seen as revolutionary. Families cherished these images as visual histories that would preserve their children's youthful appearances for years to come. The act of posing together in front of a camera allowed children to experience a sense of belonging. They were part of a collective memory that tied them together in their shared experiences. In many ways, these portraits were about more than just individual likenesses. They reflected the dynamics within a classroom and the relationships among students. They captured friendships formed through laughter, support shared during difficult times, and bonds created through learning. Each child's expression and posture in the portrait spoke volumes about their personalities and connections with one another. The excited smiles or shy glances provided insight into their worlds. The excitement of being together in school or the anxiety of having their picture taken. Moreover, these portraits documented educational milestones that were particularly significant during this time period. For students in 1878, posing for a school portrait marked not just another year of education, but also progress toward adulthood. These photographs served as a recognition of their growth, not only in knowledge, but also in character. They would eventually become reminders of friendships that may have faded, but were once vibrant during childhood days spent learning together. Also noteworthy is how school portraits helped shape the identity of children within their communities. In an era where personal documents were scarce, these images became part of how families defined themselves and were defined by others. A portrait could signify not only academic achievement, but also character traits such as cooperation or perseverance that families wished to highlight. Parents proudly displayed these images, celebrating their children's participation in education while simultaneously showcasing their values to society. Yet, it's vital to recognize that not all children experience this positive aspect of school portraits, especially one like our mystery girl. While some kids in the portrait might have been heralded for their accomplishments, she stands forgotten amidst her peers. Her absence from family stories and historical records emphasizes how easily individual narratives can be overshadowed or lost entirely over time. But on another level, her anonymity invites us to reflect on broader issues surrounding representation within school portraits. For every child celebrated for achievements captured within clear frames, lies another whose existence is marked by obscurity, an unsettling reminder that many voices remain unheard even today, despite the power these portraits hold to document lives. In exploring this theme further, we might ponder how such images hold deeper societal implications as well. They symbolize collective effort toward education, while revealing trends such as shifting gender roles or class disparities that still persist today. For instance, we might wonder how certain children chose to dress for the photo. Did they put on their best clothing hoping it would impress? Or were there those who came without any thought because they felt left out or marginalized by the education system? These reflections urge us to consider what has changed and what remains unchanged in our world as time marches forward, as classrooms transform into diverse settings with varying educational philosophies applied across nations worldwide today. Does each child still feel seen? Do portraits still capture shared memories rich with meaning for everyone involved? School portraits also remind us that pictures can serve multiple purposes beyond nostalgia. They have immense potential for advocacy and awareness, too. Modern iterations might inspire discussions around inclusivity by highlighting diverse student bodies representing all backgrounds. Their unique experiences woven tightly together into narratives challenging long-standing norms surrounding whom society chooses to remember. Ultimately, Each photograph captured tells countless stories waiting patiently beneath surface details. Stories we should seek to unearth so future generations may appreciate not just faces framed on walls, but lives enriched through connection amidst learning environments filled with respect across all walks of life. In conclusion, reflecting on the role school portraits played emphasizes how valuable they are, not only as artifacts reflecting society at large, but also on personal levels, allowing individuals glimpses into history shaped by interconnectedness among classmates united against similar challenges over time. This brings forth understanding why recognizing figures like our unknown girl holds importance. Through honoring forgotten legacies hidden behind smiles across ages, we find strength needed for continuing forward. As we delve into the mystery of the 1878 school portrait, the journey of researching its origins and the individuals captured within it becomes paramount. In our quest to uncover the identity of the unknown girl and understand the stories behind her classmates, we embark on a fascinating exploration that combines historical inquiry with personal narratives. To begin our research, we might first seek insights from local historical societies or archives that specialize in education during the late 19th century. These resources can provide valuable context about the school, including its founding, the curriculum offered at that time, and photographs or records relating to students and teachers. Local newspapers from the period may also offer clues, featuring articles about school events or special initiatives aimed at fostering education within the community. Unfortunately, records from the late 1800s are often fragmented, which adds an element of challenge to our investigation. Many documents may have been lost or damaged over time. However, this lack of information doesn't deter our curiosity. Instead, it inspires us to think creatively about how to piece together histories from various sources. In addition to institutional records, reaching out to descendants of local families can yield remarkable insights. Engaging with older community members who might have grown up hearing tales of their relatives can fill in gaps left by historical documentation. Family stories handed down through generations often carry details that official records omit. Tales of friendships formed, challenges faced, and dreams aspired to that are rarely captured in dusty old books. Another avenue for research involves scrutinizing the faces in the portrait itself. Using technology like facial recognition or software designed to analyze similarities, we could match these children with historical figures or families from the area. For instance, perhaps some classmates were children of prominent local figures whose names may have appeared in other documents or who were known for their contributions to education. Social media platforms also present modern opportunities for outreach. By sharing the portrait online, perhaps on community boards or history groups, we can engage a wider audience who might recognize someone in the photograph or possess personal artifacts related to it. The viral nature of digital platforms often brings unexpected connections forward. A distant cousin living across the country could stumble upon our post and provide crucial information. While researching, we might come across challenges related to race and gender in schools during that era. Understanding how these factors influence students' experiences can add layers to our narrative about this unknown girl and her classmates. We could look into how different backgrounds affected educational opportunities available at that time, or how cultural expectations shaped childhoods differently for boys and girls. This essential context allows us to appreciate more deeply not just what is seen in the portrait, but also what remains unseen beneath their smiles. As we compile information from various avenues, it is equally important to document our findings carefully. Creating a timeline based on evidence gathered can help clarify connections between individuals depicted in the portrait and their broader historical context. Comparing dates of birth with known school years may illuminate who was present in the photo based on age ranges common for schooling at that discipline stage. These research efforts lead us into conversations about preservation and legacy as well. What lessons can we learn from past educational practices? How do they reflect our values today? By considering such questions alongside our findings, we begin weaving a rich tapestry of education's evolution that aligns with contemporary insights regarding inclusive environments for learning. Moreover, engaging in discussions with educators about their perspectives on how school portraits impact student identity today opens another layer for exploration. Are modern students aware of their own identities being shaped through similar portraits? How does photography serve as both an emotional anchor and a tool for self-reflection among current learners? The process of researching this portrait, and ultimately unveiling its stories, invites us not only into a dialogue with history, but also compels us toward deeper connections within our communities today. Each child featured in that photograph deserves recognition beyond mere images captured on paper. They offer insight into aspirations carried forward through time. Finally, as we continue exploring forgotten histories and intertwining them with those of previously unrecognized lives like our mystery girl, a beacon emerges amid fading memories, reminding us that every effort exerted toward learning more about those glorified faces represents an opportunity for understanding complexity. Each thread uncovered has the potential to strengthen community ties while honoring legacies entwined with collective memory. Researching this 1878 school portrait becomes more than an inquiry into names and dates. It transforms into a journey filled with anticipation for revelations waiting patiently to be discovered, revelations that underscore how even the most obscure stories hold tremendous value. As we continue our exploration of the 1878 school portrait, we turn to the invaluable stories of former students who experienced school life during that era. Engaging with these individuals, many of whom are now elderly, can provide a rich tapestry of memories and insights that might help shed light on the unknown girl in the photograph and her classmates. Each story is a thread woven through the fabric of history, revealing how interconnected their lives were, even if they remain just distant echoes today. Starting this endeavor might involve reaching out to local community centers or historical societies to find former students or their descendants. Many communities have groups dedicated to preserving local history, and they can often connect researchers with individuals willing to share their stories. For instance, a small gathering at a local coffee shop could yield numerous conversations. There, former students may share tales of friendships forged in that rustic classroom or joyful experiences associated with quaint traditions like May Day celebrations or acting plays. One former student, Mrs. Eleanor Thompson, a spirited woman in her late 80s, recalls the day when the photograph was taken. The sun was shining bright, and everyone was so excited to be part of that picture. She reminisces, her eyes twinkling as she shares snippets of laughter-filled moments where children were playfully trying to dodge being captured in the photo frame. She fondly remembers the unity among classmates as they shared secrets and dreams during breaks on the playground outside. Eleanor recalls how much she looked up to her teacher, Miss Adams, who fostered a love for reading among her students. She would gather us around for story time every afternoon, Eleanor explains. We'd lose ourselves in adventures and forget about any worries we had. Perhaps this connection sheds light on why education was so vital during that period. The eagerness for knowledge remained as strong as the bonds formed within those four walls. Moving through more narratives emphasizes the diversity within their experiences. Another former student, Mr. Samuel Hughes, relates his fondness for mathematics and how he often helped his classmates understand difficult problems. Back then, he shares with a chuckle, we didn't have calculators. We had chalkboards instead. His pride in academic accomplishments reveals how students relied on each other's strengths to foster learning environments that flourished despite challenges. Interestingly, these stories also give voice to broader themes regarding societal norms at play in schools during that era. Many students reflect on the differences between boys' and girls' experiences. Some sharing how girls often felt pressure to conform to domestic roles from an early age, while boys were encouraged toward more adventurous pursuits. One anecdote highlights a class project where boys built model ships while girls sewed quilts. A stark contrast symbolizing expectations cast upon them based on gender. Within these narratives lies a treasure trove of observations about the classroom environment itself. A space alive with energy but structured by strict rules. Social dynamics influenced interactions. Groups formed with close companions who navigated joys and hallowed frustrations together. Even subtle conflicts over toys or seating arrangements contributed lessons about compromise and respect that shaped their character amidst playful rivalries. These individual accounts not only highlight personalities, but also provide crucial details about other children who stand beside our mysterious girl in the portrait. Names mentioned sparingly could signify small connections, perhaps linking them indirectly to someone else present within that frame captured in 1878. Remembering each child's impact serves a dual purpose, honoring their legacies while further deepening our understanding of school life back then. As we compile these vivid stories into collective records, powerful themes emerge from examining what threads connect them all. Curiosity for learning drives engagement alongside friendships, critical for emotional support, even amid struggles faced daily, navigating numerous responsibilities outside class hours. Moreover, hearing first-hand recollections also opens doors leading toward conversations around memory preservation today. How some portraits capture hope or fear eternalized visually through time while shedding light on forgotten stories, yet again hidden beneath dust. By holding gatherings where former students recount shared experiences centered around education and life lessons learned during formative years together, including tales about inclement weather forcing them indoors or impromptu games played during recess. We can transform quiet nostalgia into active engagement. This fosters newfound connections between past lives lived over countless seasonal cycles long erased by time passing ever onward. Ultimately, these poignant stories remind us that every individual captured within that 1878 portrait had dreams worth pursuing. And perhaps one such dream belongs specifically to our unknown girl, whose face still gazes out silently at us today, yearning recognition lost throughout all those years since then. Each revelation calling forth echoes attracts attention back again toward cherishing lives lived wholeheartedly, filled not only with triumphs, but also lessons gleaned from every heartache endured along life's winding pathways leading toward brighter tomorrows. In collecting and sharing these precious memories told through their voices today, stories rooted deeply across generations, we pave ways toward remembering not only faces framed upon walls connected by classroom associations, but embodying values around respect, empathy, compassion, breathed anew amidst vibrant community ties, enriching histories unfolding forever forward. As we delve further into the narrative surrounding the 1878 school portrait, we cannot overlook the presence of the unnamed teacher who guided the children during this pivotal time in their education. While the faces of the students are immortalized in the photograph, the identity and story of their teacher remain a mystery, evoking curiosity about her impact on the classroom and her relationship with her students. Understanding the role of teachers in that era is crucial. The late 19th century marked significant changes in education, and teachers became central figures in shaping young minds. In a time when formal schooling was still a relatively new concept for many families, educators were tasked with instilling not only knowledge, but also important values and social skills. They molded future generations, often under challenging circumstances, and their influence extended far beyond the classroom boundaries. In this particular snapshot, the absence of the teacher's name creates a poignant contrast with the vibrant lives of her students. Perhaps she was a young woman, dedicated to her profession, passionately working to inspire curiosity and learning among her pupils. We can envision her, standing tall, quietly commanding respect, yet filled with warmth, gathering her students around her during storytelling sessions or guiding them through mathematical problems on a chalkboard. Several former students might reminisce about how much they admired their teacher, describing her as a kind-hearted soul who encouraged them to explore their interests. One might recall a time when she stayed after school to help struggling students catch up, illuminating life lessons through both academics and heartfelt conversations. This dedication symbolized those early educators who aspired to pave the path towards a brighter future for every child in their charge. However, it is also essential to consider societal norms that may have constrained educators at that time. Gender roles greatly defined opportunities available to women, and many women became teachers not only out of passion, but often because it was one of the few professions accessible to them. This dynamic leads us to reflect on what it must have been like for our unnamed teacher, balancing professional aspirations while navigating societal expectations surrounding femininity and domesticity. Moreover, the cultural landscape of education during this time was layered with its challenges. Issues like limited resources and classrooms often overcrowded meant teachers had to adopt innovative approaches to keep lessons engaging. We could imagine our teacher working tirelessly with meager supplies, creating materials, or using creative methods to ensure her students remained excited about learning despite obstacles outside those four walls. What would it be like for our unnamed teacher witnessing her students grow year after year? Would she find fulfillment in their successes, or feel heartbroken remembering those who faced difficulties? Each child captured within that portrait held untold potential, as teachers often do, dreaming big dreams while balancing both joy and sorrow alike throughout their journeys together. As we piece together these narratives about this essential figure, the faceless guide whose influence reverberated in countless lives, we come to appreciate broader themes surrounding education at that time. Discussions about educational equity highlight disparities across different student backgrounds. Some may have thrived in her class, while others may still have struggled against various odds that affected academic outcomes, further emphasizing systemic issues that existed. Exploring these dynamics allows us to develop a more nuanced understanding not just of teaching, but also learning overall. The relationships formed between students and their educator illuminate how collective experiences foster partnerships deeply embedded in mutual respect and recognition. A resonance echoed within authentic stories shared today by those fortunate enough to learn under someone inspirational. Nevertheless, this reflection also serves as poignant reminder that just like the unnamed teacher herself, all individuals contributing quietly behind scenes often remain overshadowed by louder narratives. What would it mean if we took time to honor these hidden figures? Perhaps acknowledging such essential but overlooked contributions would illuminate communal efforts towards nurturing future societies, while simultaneously allowing room for understanding complexities existing beneath carefully framed smiles captured on photographic paper. Ultimately, recognizing this unnamed teacher compels us not only toward honoring past legacies, but also inspires current discussions about educational standards. Ensuring today's classrooms reflect diversity, while embodying inclusive values beneficial for children everywhere. Becoming aware of these uncelebrated lives, like those lived by thousands of educators throughout history, transforms our perspective. We find ourselves striving further toward fostering environments that celebrate every contribution made towards facilitating equitable learning experiences for all young minds seeking knowledge along their paths by weaving together themes connecting student achievements back through memories alive across generations, intertwined with aspirations bound by invisible threads. It offers renewed purpose for advocating ongoing efforts, championing academic equity, as we seek to unveil historical narratives tied within tightly held truths carried onward over decades. The impact left behind may forge bridges linking generations past, while leading strides towards something brighter, still awaiting discovery ahead. As we reflect on the 1878 school portrait, it becomes evident that memory and legacy intertwine in powerful ways. Each face captured in the photograph represents not just a moment frozen in time, but also echoes of the past that resonate through generations. The unknown girl at the forefront serves as a poignant symbol of countless lives that intersected within that rustic classroom, prompting us to contemplate how individual narratives contribute to our shared history. Consider how memories shape our understanding of who we are. This portrait, with its sunlit backdrop and animated smiles, encapsulates the innocence and hope experienced during childhood. Yet, at the same time, it exposes the fragility of memory itself. While some individuals may be remembered fondly through stories passed down, others fade away into obscurity. The very act of remembering, whether it be joyful recollections or painful losses, demonstrates how dedicated we are to weaving the fabric of our identities. The legacy of the children in this portrait extends beyond their years in school. They eventually grew up to influence their communities in diverse ways, becoming parents, teachers, tradespeople, or advocates for change. Each life touched others, spreading seeds of impact across families and society. However, those ripple effects can often remain uncharted, a reminder that contributions made during one's lifetime do not always garner recognition, but are nonetheless vital to our communal tapestry. In pondering the contributions of individuals like the unnamed girl, we begin to appreciate how closely linked memory and legacy truly are. Her story might not have been chronicled within historical documents, yet she embodies the hopes and dreams held during an era marked by great societal shifts. Her silence speaks volumes, inviting us to reflect not only on her life, but also on all those whose narratives remain untold or forgotten. This leads us to consider the responsibility we bear in honoring both personal memories and collective histories. Preservation of these stories, whether through written accounts, oral histories, or public exhibits, becomes essential in keeping past lives alive and teaching future generations about their roots. Our relationship with memory shapes our present as much as it informs our understanding of history. By acknowledging those who contributed to our shared legacy, we underscore their value. The 1878 school portrait serves as an entry point for wider conversations about representation. Why do we tend to remember some figures while allowing others to slip away unnoticed? The dynamics surrounding visibility highlight systemic issues that persist today across various communities, where certain voices continue to dominate narratives while others remain marginalized. Recognizing these discrepancies calls for action. If we truly wish to honor everyone's experiences, we must amplify those silent voices that have been overlooked for too long. Moreover, as we contemplate how society evolves over time, it is prudent to reflect on lessons learned through historical recollection. The classroom setting captured within this portrait exhibits rich dynamics essential for a learning environment, emphasizing collaboration while facilitating growth and understanding among students from differing backgrounds. Yet today, educational landscapes still carry echoes of that past, reminding us there is much work left simulating equitable environments. As we navigate themes surrounding diversity, They closely tie into ensuring that every child has access to opportunities they deserve, without burdens restricting their potential, aimed solely within limited thresholds based upon race or gender. By honoring these embedded legacies, with student environments cultivating respect toward one another, schools can transform into microcosms where equity flourishes. Initiatives around incorporating stories like those of our unknown girl make spaces for dialogue, rooted firmly in respect, rooted deep down embedded values, extending beyond classrooms, reaching into wider communities, fostering goodwill through collective engagements. This accountability enforces responsibilities toward continuing conversations, highlighting who we remember versus those who fade away entirely, prompting actionable changes, reevaluating systems presently in place, shaping educational experiences available. Catering needs, holistically promoting wellness, celebrating diverse identities, extensively enriching vitality within modern settings. Thus, returning to the school portrait invites us beyond shallow reflections alongside envisioned smiles captured years ago. Instead, infusing urgency, inspiring openness, bringing forth connections, forming ties, grounding continued engagement, befitting historical narratives, steered forth illuminating paths ahead, igniting flames, remaining bright, guiding aspirations toward future legacies, aligned with unity, forging stronger bonds together. As we cherish both individual memories, filtered through personal lenses, intertwined across generations, awaiting resonance, echoes illuminating history once more. We can step into tomorrow, equipped with newfound awareness, striving steadily alongside others toward narrowing gaps between remembered lives, holding fast, promising legacies, intangible yet thriving, eternally waiting patiently amidst vibrant backdrop. Stopping to crucially honor connections, supporting endeavors led upward, navigating pathways paved boldly forth amid landmarks rich, nurturing all avenues, dwelling wrapped warmly within shared fates beforehand, drawing courage across shared faces, uncovering legacies, intertwined leading forevermore. The impact of historical research on understanding the 1878 school portrait extends far beyond mere curiosity. It allows us to unlock the stories embedded within that single image and grasp the broader societal and educational contexts of the time. Each piece of information gathered not only brings life to the characters portrayed, but also offers insights into the cultural, social, and educational landscapes they navigated. When researchers delve into historical records, they uncover a treasure trove of narratives that contribute to a richer understanding of the past. Archival materials, such as old school logs, letters, or newspaper articles, provide essential context about the era's educational practices, community values, and norms. Through these documents, we learn about the challenges teachers faced in a rapidly evolving society, challenges that our unnamed teacher undoubtedly navigated as she worked diligently to cultivate a love of learning among her students. One crucial aspect of this research is how it highlights the disparities within educational systems. In the late 19th century, formal schooling became increasingly accessible, yet not all children had equal opportunities. By studying records and engaging with former students, researchers can better comprehend how factors such as race, class, and gender influenced access to education. This knowledge can help unravel the complexities of the learning environment depicted in the portrait, revealing layers that may not be immediately apparent from photographs alone. For instance, we might discover that some students in the portrait came from families who championed education and provided strong support at home, while others faced obstacles that hindered their academic success. Understanding these dynamics sheds light on how societal structures shaped individual experiences and offers a pathway to fostering discussions about equity in classrooms today. By analyzing the portrait through a lens informed by historical research, we can also grasp how educational philosophies were beginning to shift during this period. The late 1800s saw burgeoning ideas surrounding progressive education, focusing on experiential learning versus traditional rote memorization. Was this approach reflected in the teaching styles employed by our unnamed teacher? Did she encourage her students to engage actively with their environment, fostering creativity and critical thinking? Moreover, such explorations allow us to draw parallels between past educational practices and current issues facing schools today. The juxtaposition can be enlightening. For example, are there still systemic barriers that prevent certain groups of children from receiving equal educational opportunities? How might modern educators learn from both successes and challenges faced by their predecessors? Researching historical contexts thus compels us to confront ongoing conversations about inclusion, diversity, and accessibility in education now. Additionally, gathering stories from local communities, such as those shared by former students or their descendants, not only enriches our understanding of individual lives, but also strengthens ties within present-day communities. As individuals recount their memories of school days spent in similar classrooms or share anecdotes about teachers who inspired them long ago, we promote a sense of belonging and shared history. This engagement encourages intergenerational conversations that keep memory alive. Children today can connect with their predecessors through stories and experiences that echo through time. These interactions remind us that history is not merely a collection of dates and events. It is a living narrative filled with emotions, relationships, triumphs, and struggles. Another significant outcome of historical research into the 1878 portrait involves recognizing those often left out of mainstream histories. The unnamed girl who stands silently among her peers represents countless lives whose stories remain untold. Uncovering her potential contributions or aspirations may lead to a deeper understanding of her identity. Perhaps she was an artist or a thinker whose dreams were stifled by societal expectations at that time. This reflection prompts us to think critically about whom we choose to remember and celebrate in our collective narratives. In this way, historical research does not simply illuminate the past. It serves as a beacon guiding our present actions and decisions toward creating inclusive environments where every voice can be heard. By interrogating our historical legacies, whether through portraits or written accounts, we cultivate awareness about our shared humanity while fostering accountability for ensuring equitable opportunities for all learners today. Ultimately, engaging in this thorough investigation surrounding the 1878 school portrait enhances our appreciation for individual stories interwoven with larger narratives. Each detail uncovered opens doors to dialogues about representation, legacy, and responsibility, compelling us not only to cherish those lives captured in photographs, but also to advocate for meaningful changes that honor their journeys long after they fade from memory. As we forge ahead in examining these histories, unraveling both personal accounts alongside collective experiences, we embrace transformative insights, guiding us toward nurturing future generations prepared to learn lessons drawn deeply from past lives, lived fully. The legacy left behind by individuals portrayed remains one worth celebrating while inspiring continuous progress toward more inclusive, equitable learning environments, where every dream stands an opportunity, waiting patiently for recognition amidst vibrant tapestry woven together over decades past. In concluding our exploration of the 1878 school portrait, we find ourselves at a pivotal moment, a point where the past and present meet, urging us to take action in our ongoing journey to honor and remember those who contributed to our shared histories. This portrait, with its vivid depiction of children full of dreams and potential, serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of recognition and representation in our communities. The mystery surrounding the unknown girl in the portrait invites us to reflect not only on her story, but also on the countless others like her whose narratives have been lost over time. Each child in that photograph represents a unique journey with aspirations, challenges, and experiences that are valuable to our understanding of history. It is crucial that we acknowledge their contributions, however small they may seem, as they collectively form the foundation of our societal fabric. As we delve into these stories, we must also recognize our responsibility as custodians of memory. This is more than just preserving the past. It is about ensuring that future generations understand the significance of these narratives. By sharing these stories, whether through writing, public presentations, or community discussions, we can keep their voices alive and inspire empathy, understanding, and inclusivity among today's learners. Engaging with local historical societies, schools, and community organizations offers an excellent opportunity to bring this mission to life. We can organize events focusing on local history that encourage participation from people of all ages. These gatherings can serve as platforms for sharing personal anecdotes, displaying artifacts, or even performing reenactments that highlight key moments from the past. Such initiatives not only educate attendees, but also foster connections between generations, allowing children to learn directly from those who came before them. Furthermore, schools can play a vital role in making history come alive for students. By integrating local history lessons into the curriculum, educators can encourage students to research their own family's stories or explore notable figures from their community. Class projects could involve creating visual displays or presentations based on findings from their inquiries. This kind of work instills pride and a sense of belonging, reminding students that they are part of a larger narrative that extends beyond their immediate experiences. Additionally, we can use digital platforms to expand outreach efforts. Social media campaigns or blogs dedicated to uncovering local histories can engage younger audiences and inspire them to contribute their insights. Online forums could provide spaces for individuals to share stories or connect with others who have similar interests in preserving heritage. In an increasingly interconnected world, technology can bridge gaps and ensure that voices previously silenced find opportunities for expression. Moreover, we must address the systemic issues that continue to challenge equitable education today. The disparities highlighted through our analysis of the 1878 portrait resonate with ongoing conversations regarding access to quality education for all students. As advocates for change, we must actively work toward dismantling barriers that prevent certain groups from achieving their full potential. Whether through policy advocacy, community programs, or improving access to resources within schools. By fostering a culture of inclusivity within educational settings, we can create environments where every child feels valued and heard. Recognizing the importance of diversity in school curricula, highlighting different cultures, perspectives, and experiences, will enrich students' learning journeys while enabling them to appreciate the complexities inherent in our shared humanity. Ultimately, reflecting on the 1878 school portrait inspires a call to action, one rooted deeply in appreciation for those who came before us, while striving toward a future marked by equity and respect. As we honor each individual story captured within that frame, alongside countless others lost to history's shadows, let us pledge to weave their legacies into our present-day practices. In celebrating memory and legacy actively, we cultivate a culture that nurtures understanding and acceptance across all walks of life. We strive not only to remember those who have shaped our communities, but also to empower future generations with knowledge and compassion, ensuring they carry forth these values into their own journeys ahead. As we move forward together, united by purpose, driven by shared histories, unveiled amidst vibrant connections, the essence encapsulated by our mysterious girl remains ever present. Let us embrace her story, as well as others hidden beneath layers of time, while forging pathways toward brighter futures, grounded firmly in reverence for lives lived fully awaiting recognition long overdue. This commitment will guide us progressively as stewards responsible for cultivating environments where all dreams stand poised for realization, a goal well worth pursuing.